we did Diamonds by Sia. This was before Uber existed, and she called a cab and they said it was going to be 15 minutes. So she was like, oh, throw on a beat. And then before the cab was there, the song, melody, lyrics, recording, harmonies, everything was done.
The OHP Uncut Podcast with Kannon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Benny Blanco.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Welcome to the party, sir. It's a pleasure to have you.
I feel good at the party. Whoa, where is everyone? You look like you're planning like a bank robbery. What are you doing, man? You're in the dark.
Me?
Daniel, put a light on, man.
What are you
I
sitting
like
on, Benny? I'm in the car.
I like Daniel in the dark.
He's in the car. Okay. All right, excellent. He's in the United Kingdom. Everybody, welcome. Thanks for showing up to this. It's going to be super fun. At any time, jump in with your questions. I will come to you and ask you what your question is. But if you think of something in the meantime, feel free. This is very loose and fun. And it's not a news interview. So we're all just going to have a good time today. Benny, where are you at?
Oh, man, I'm in LA.
Everyone here pretty much knows all the songs that Benny's been involved with, but maybe you don't know some of them. I'm going to go down a list of just a few of the songs that Benny has written and produced. And it's absolutely insane. For Ed Sheeran, Don't, Castle on the Hill, Perfect, Justin Bieber, Lose Yourself, Major Lazer and Justin, Cold Water, Maroon 5, every song they've had pretty much. It got Moves Like Jagger, Don't Want to Know, Payphone, Maps, and Animals, all by Benny Blanco. Katy Perry, Teenage Dream, California Girls, I Kissed a Girl, Rihanna, Diamonds, Kesha, TikTok, We Are Who We Are, Coyote Cruz, Dynamite, Gym Class Heroes, Stereo Hearts. And that's like a smattering of, and then they're all anthems, man. Which one was the most challenging for you, Vinnie?
Most challenging?
Or maybe even took the longest to write? Because I know that a lot of times.
Teenage
Dream, really? And why did that take so long?
We literally, okay, so I just come into to LA, and this was like, I don't like to fly, so I'd like just stopped flying, and I drove all the way from New York to LA, and I got to LA, I was like exhausted, and everyone was like, yo, come by the studio. I was like, oh, I'm exhausted, and they're like, come on. So I came by, and they're like, yo, we have our first singles, we just want you to hear them. And they played me a song called The One That Got Away and a song called Part of Me. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I just like went into like the back room and like started making some beats, and we made 2 beats, and one of them was the beat to Teenage Dream and one of them was the beat to California Girls, both at the same time in like 20 minutes. And then that night we wrote the melody for Teenage Dream, and everyone was like, yeah, that's pretty good. And like nobody said anything about it. Then the next day, like we played it back again, and we were like, okay, we're gonna work on this song. We rewrote the song 8 times in 7 days, and then we finally finished it. And then we had to like make the song after. That was just writing it. So it was like 8 additional days just to write it.
What does a song usually take? Like, what's a typical?
It's different every time. Sometimes, like when we did Diamonds by Sia, this was before Uber existed, and she called a cab and they said it was going to be 15 minutes. So she was like, oh, throw on a beat. And then before the cab was there, the song, melody, lyrics, recording, harmonies, everything was done.
She has one of my favorite voices in music. What was the first song you ever wrote, man?
Some song followed by another song followed by another one. But I don't know. I've been writing music since I was about 4 or 5.
Wow. You would never think that Benny Blanco wrote any songs when you hear the list I just went down, which was not even, the 10th of what you've done.
I write a lot of songs still, all the time. You just don't hear them.
Let's go around a little bit and start getting some fan questions. We'll start with the man in his car, and then we'll let him go eat. Daniel, what you think?
Yeah, so Benny, I've got like 2 questions to ask you. The first one mainly being, if you weren't a musician, like producer, what would you be?
If I just wasn't a musician?
Yeah.
Probably chef. That's always what I wanted to do. I wanted to be
like a main chef, or like kind of like a
just work in a kitchen. I work in kitchens a lot now. Like it's what I do. Like I do it for like charity and I always wanted to just like be a chef. Even in like high school, we'd all get stoned. Everyone gets stoned, and we'd come to my house, and I'd try to like be Gordon Ramsay and make like sandwiches for everyone. But I would just be high, and everything would have tons of cheese on it.
If you get hammered at my house, you're getting a hot pocket.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like.
The other question was, which out the favorites are like the favorite artists you've collabed with? Which has been your favorite artist you collab with so far, and why? It's
crazy because like I don't really work with artists that like aren't like my like close friend. Like, so, you know, because I find it so hard to work with people until you're like friends with them, because I don't know. I just like don't know how to connect. So like everyone, like a lot of the people, like take Ed Sheeran, for example, like we were just friends first. We didn't even make music until like we had hung out like a bunch. I don't know. Like everyone holds like a different place in my heart. Cause like I always like there's a certain type of song you can make with certain people. It's like, yeah, like if I'm working with like SZA, I know I'm gonna make like the best song about like a breakup, and I'll get out like my feelings that way. But like, you know, if I'm making a song with Lil Dicky, we're gonna be talking about like a small penis and like a fart joke. Like it's like I think they all serve different purposes, the collaborators.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Why do small penises come into play?
Yeah.
Correlation there?
Yeah, just small penises.
Is he open about his size?
Penis? Yeah, very open. Very open.
All right, cool. Hey, Daniel, good question, man. Appreciate you. Gustavo, what's your question, man?
I have two questions also. So somebody else I got to meet at Erewhon, if you can recognize, that's Sophie.
Oh,
you got to work with Sophie, and I was wondering if you remember what the collaboration with her was like. That's my first of two questions.
Oh my God, I worked with her so many times. We the first time we ever like worked together, she like came over with this like little box, and she basically can turn any like. She could go on any keyboard, like any music keyboard with like knobs. And like, if it's just like a keyboard that like plays like a synth or a piano, she knows how to like manipulate the sound with like the oscillators and make it into any sound, like a snare drum into like an 808. Like it's really crazy. And the way she worked was like, it happened so quickly. And also like, it was just so fun. Like, she's you know, she's definitely one of the best people I ever worked with ever in the room.
Wow.
Like
Gustavo, how are you so connected with all these people, man? How do you always run into all these celebrities?
No, I just write songs too, and I feel like I have good conversations with other people that write music, but I'm still on the come up. My second question was about Stargate, because I got to also go to LAMP with Stargate last year, and they're starting a new year that you're going to mentor at. Do you remember what the thought process was like when you guys were making Diamonds? Or like, you know, Tor always says, start the chorus on the one. Is there any like little tricks that you feel like a great song has?
Mine is like that. Mine's less than like the one or this thing. Mine has always been, there's all these rules and there's all this stuff that like, it's like, oh yeah, like start the chorus on the one. Oh, like if it's like staccato, then this thing. But then there's just, the songs just work. Like, it's like, you look at like Day and Night by Kid Cudi, the verse, pre and chorus are all the same melody. Like it never changes. It's the same melody, the whole song. And I always think that like, if you feel it and it gives you like one of those feelings and it's like something relatable, I feel like at least a few other people are going to have the same feeling, you know?
Of course.
And I just never want to do anything that sounds like something else. I want to be the first to do all that. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, everyone's making like disco songs. Let's go make a disco song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which they are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
Yes.
very, very good question, Gustavo. I appreciate that. Fernando, welcome. What you got, brother?
What's up, man? I wanted to ask you about your mentor, Disco D, and I wanted to see if any like hidden gems he dropped on you when you were like coming up.
Wow, that's old school.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Yeah, it was such a interesting thing working with him because I met a lot of collaborators that changed my life through him while I was an intern. Like, so you never know. Like, dude, I was like actually scrubbing toilets and like actually I would just get people food. Like that was my job. And I met so many people, and he was always so forward thinking and like very much ahead of his time. And honestly, the thing that was the best was he would always like me. Like I would like go play music and he'd be like, this sucks. And like one time he literally erased my hard drive. Like I like had made all these songs and he took all of them and just threw them in the trash and he goes, start again.
That's awesome, man. That's so
yeah.
cool.
That's a very good question, Fernando. You guys have great questions. This is why I like letting you ask the questions. They're way better than I would ask. This is a lot of fun. Hybrid Fan just showed up, who we've had on the show before. Elle, what you got?
What's your favorite new restaurant in LA?
Oh man, my favorite new restaurant, or just like favorite just a new one. I guess a newer one. I really like Found Oyster a lot. It's really yummy. And then my favorite restaurant. I eat so much food. I can't pick a favorite. I don't. Your favorite restaurant?
I go to Laurel Hardware a lot. It's not new, but
Yeah, I know.
I like that place. But do you prefer to eat at home or at a restaurant?
I do like cooking for my friends a lot and just like being like, there's nothing like having like a thing at the house and where like there's no end and you're, drinking, you're smoking, you're hanging, oh yeah, someone brings dessert, someone brings this. I love a potluck as well. I love like when everyone brings and you're just like hanging out. We're playing charades. We're jumping in the pool. I do like a little like house dinner moment. I'm having one tonight. It's like, who's behind you? Who's that?
Who's coming tonight?
You're coming.
I wish I was. Is this a celebrity party or just like some other friends?
It's all intermingled. It's all just like I said, the artist, honestly, sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'll be in a situation where I'll really forget. Like, because it's like, I've known a lot of these people since before they were like artists. So it'll be like, I'll just like, my friend will come in from like my hometown and he'll be like, wait, what the? I'll be like, because it'll just be like the biggest artist in the world. But it's like, it's just, yeah, it doesn't, I don't know. I try to create like a really like interesting dynamic with people of like all walks of life, people that do all different things, because everyone's just a person at the end of the day. So like, if you can just put people and make people feel comfortable, it's like, that's when people feel like the most free, especially someone who's like in the spotlight a lot. If they can just come somewhere and just like relax and have a good time and like not everyone's asking them like dumb questions and we're all just like joking around.
What's your favorite food to make for people when they come over?
Everything. Today I'm making birria tacos and a tres leches cake and sorry, Daniel, I'm not making chicken.
Ken,
quick question. Hey Benny, I'd like to hear about your experience working with BTS in the studio. What was that like?
Oh man, BTS it's so wild. So basically, we recorded the song. I was in America and they were in Korea when they did their parts, and I stayed awake. And the time zones were so different. So I was trying to keep myself awake. So I went swimming and I actually did the song. I like recorded the song with them while I was swimming just because I had to stay up. And it was like 4:30 in the morning. And I was just trying to find ways to stay awake. And I was like, maybe if I like jump into a pool, I'll stay awake. And they're so good. And I remember I was like, we can get anyone on the song in the world. Who do you want to put on the song? And they like, we were just like Snoop Dogg. And that's amazing. So I called up Snoop. I'm like, Snoop, you trying to get on this song? And he's like, let's get it. And then I went over and then smoked so much weed I forgot who I am today. and yeah, every time I'm with Snoop, it's all just a haze. And I just like find myself in the bathroom just being like just like looking at my hands on both sides. Hey, hybrid fan.
Hello, how are you?
You finally got your t-shirt to work.
Yeah, and I have my Britney shirt on, so
of course you do.
I had to.
Yeah.
Are you
it's always
Britney
about
fan?
Huge Britney fan.
Oh my god, I got to work with her before.
Yeah, 5 songs: Shattered Glass, Lace and Leather, Drop Dead Beautiful, Circus, and Gasoline.
I was like, I did 5 songs. You know better than me. That was my first like real pop session was Circus. That was like my first. I'd never done pop songs like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like your songs with her are like just like classic Britney songs right now. They're going down in history as like one of the best right now. So,
do you have any cool stories from the Circus sessions?
Yeah, it was so interesting because I had never worked with like a big artist, and I was scared. I was like, is she gonna be mean? She's like, I don't know if you've ever met her, but she's like the nicest person on planet Earth. Like it's insane. Kannon, have you ever met her?
Yeah, a couple times. She's very sweet. Yes.
So nice. And it's not like a for show. Like she's like that the whole time. I worked with her a lot. And then the one thing that was crazy was I had never seen, so it was like one of my first times ever working like in a big studio too. And I had never even seen, I didn't even really know what paparazzi was. Like I never knew what it was. And she was so big at that moment because it was like such a big moment. She was like her comeback. She was coming back that I was like outside in the recording studio. It was like there's like an outdoor area where you could like walk around, and a man was in a tree and he like parachuted down from the tree to take pictures because he thought I was Britney. And I was just like, oh my God. And she would always, it's crazy. She would always stay like so chill when like it would be like insane. The amount of like people that were always following her was so crazy. It was so crazy how she would always like, she would just come in and she would be like, you would see like hundreds of people. And then she'd come in and she'd be like, hey, what are you guys doing today? Like working with her was really cool, especially because it was like my first introduction. And the thing about that I love about working with her and artists like her specifically is she's not afraid to like be weird or do something like out of the box or like not conventional pop. And like when you do songs like that are so original, they do get to stand the test of time because it's like they're just interesting. They're different. They're not like, oh, this is a straight ahead pop song, And I love artists like that. And that's why I like working with Kesha so much too, because she's like, everything was just like so different. And she was going to do exactly what she wanted to say, whether people like thought it was cool or not. She didn't care. And those are the type, like, I always find like people trying to be cool, it's not cool. And when people are just themselves and original, it's always the coolest.
So I feel like a lot of different production techniques are obviously characteristic to different eras and like different decades. Do you ever wish you could go back in time and work in like a different era of music and use that kind of equipment and gear?
Really good question.
That's a good question. Yeah, I'd like to go check out yeah, I'm just a fan of music and I'm a fan of all eras, and I listen to mostly I don't really listen to a lot of contemporary music. I listen to mostly old music. So yeah, I'd love to go back and see like how Prince was making his like, and see like how like go into like those Michael sessions, go into like some like Miles Davis sessions, or like there's like Serge Gainsbourg. Like, yeah, I would love to go in and be a fly on the wall and or make the music.
Are you a big gear head? Like, is there like one?
yeah, I do like, yeah, I pretty much like anything that's like, I don't even know how to use MIDI. I'm so like, I'm like, I want like whatever thing that's going to break right when I get it. I want that. And then spend all the time trying to make it work again.
Well, hey, before we play Bad Decisions, have you made any in recent memory that stand out?
Have I made any bad decisions?
Yeah,
I make bad decisions every day. It's only a bad decision if you don't learn from it. So I think most of the time, but yeah, what are you talking about? I make terrible decisions. I'm lactose intolerant and I eat cheese all the time. All I do is make bad decisions.
Just a round of applause for everyone. You've been amazing. This has been a lot of fun. It really, really has. Benny, we'll all be over tonight, man. We're ready. Make some extra plates ready for us. All right, brother?
I'll see you guys tonight. Oh my God, there's another guy in Daniel's.
Hi, Dad. It's my dad.
Dad.
He wants to say hi.
How you doing? Yeah, great to see you.
Why is Dad holding up his pinky only? Hi, Dad.
Thank you for your time, Benny. Obviously, we appreciate your art and your energy. And let's go ahead and play Bad Decisions. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Can I ask one question?
Yeah, you can have one last question.
Awesome. All right. I wanted to ask if you're currently working with Britney on any kind of new music soon, or if you're.
I'm glad you asked that question because I was thinking the same thing. Good question.
I actually recently just reached out to try to start working on some stuff, like a month ago. So I hope soon. We were just talking about trying to do something. But yeah, I love the new thing she put out too.
Yeah, hold me closer.
There's been no confirmation then, but have you heard that maybe she is working on an album or thinking about working on an album?
I'm the last guy to ask. I don't even know anything, but I hope she is. She's incredible. I hope she's doing it. Free Britney, we're back, baby.
I think we'd all like to see that. Well, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
You've all been so much fun. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thanks to the record label as well.
See you, Benny.
Bye.
The OHP Uncut Podcast with Kannon.